dude, I'm gonna put it out there. I might sound crazy for this, but I reckon Ukraine has this in the bag. I think that Russia leaves. I think Russia gives up. I don't think it's going to happen soon. In fact, I think that maybe even Russia will take a lot of Ukraine, but I didn't realize like how big Ukraine is. It's 44 million people. I don't think you can do a hostile takeover of a country that large. It's also fucking large. It's not like England where there's shitloads of people, but it's very small. It's like really massive and spread out. I don't think Russia takes it. It seems like there's a bunch of people that don't really want to be there and don't really know why they're fighting versus people like defending the homes they live in and the lives they lead, you know? I think it's like fucking, all jokes aside, fucking incredible seeing the Ukrainian people like rise to the challenge and like band together and yeah, like stand against what's happening to their country. I think it's terrible, but it's also like amazing and incredible and inspiring. And another interesting like little thing that's come from this that I never really expected is that I know exactly how to make a Molotov cocktail now, you know? Like the instructions are just out there on the internet. It's just been posted everywhere. I didn't know you needed styrofoam. I thought from my video game knowledge, you needed like glass bottle, gasoline, and cloth. But what you also really want to add in is a little bit of polystyrene so that when you throw it onto a human, instead of just going out when you pat it out, it melts their fucking eyes and sticks to their skin and they die a horrible death. So that you learn something new every day. You know, I didn't know that. Now I do. I'm not going to use that knowledge, I hope, right? We'll see what China does, right? But now I know. Fuck, that'd be one of those things where you make it and you build it and you feel real sick and then you throw it and then you never forget that moment for the rest of your fucking life. But that's war, I guess. That's horrible. And I guess that's what you have to resort to when a superpower invades your country. Although, is it a superpower if your fucking dollar is worth less than a Robux? You know, the ruble is worth less than a Robux. Fucking Roblox money is worth more than a ruble. Dude, what's really interesting is all of these sanctions are coming. This is why I think that Ukraine takes it in the long run, maybe, because it seems like while Russia might be able to, like, you know, overwhelmingly force their way into controlling the city, then what? They own a country that doesn't want them there and doesn't want to be under their rule while being under like heavy sanctions from the rest of the world. Like, I don't see how Russia wins this. Like, I don't get what their goal is. I understand. I watched a really interesting little mini doc that this guy did about like Russia's perspective on this whole thing. And the video used to be called "Why Russia Might Invade Ukraine." And then it was released like a year ago, and then he just changed the title to "Why Russia is Invading Ukraine." And so like he pretty much just called it. And it was really interesting looking at it from Putin's perspective, because it's not even really like Russians don't seem to want this, but it almost makes sense in Putin's brain if you step into his mind from his point of view, which is a fucked point of view. So Russia and Ukraine and all these other Eastern European like countries used to be like one giant block called the USSR, the Soviet Union. And it used to be, as big as Russia is, it used to be like almost twice the size that it is. So Ukraine and Russia were like the same country. And Russia, as we know it today, actually started in Ukraine. Like before Russia and Ukraine, there was this place called like Urus or some weird name. Like Russia, its roots are in Ukraine. So in Putin's mind, there's no difference between Ukraine and Russia, and the West has influenced Ukraine to like join them and corrupted his people and changed their culture on purpose. And I bet there is an element of truth to that. Like there is, you know, the Cold War happened and the West definitely fucks with, you know, communist countries to become more capitalistic and more and promote democracy so that basically they can make more money and trade better and have stronger military alliances. Like that is true. Russia's doing that to us as well, but we're doing that to them. I think that Russia's in the wrong here, but from their point of view, that makes sense, right? But what's really interesting is the Putin was like part of the USSR. And what I'm doing here now is I watched a 10-minute video, believed all of it, and now I'm going to tell you like it's the truth, and now you're going to tell your friends, and this is how misinformation starts, okay? So welcome to my fucking history lesson on why Putin's invading Ukraine and why, from his point of view, it makes perfect sense, even though it's insane and evil, right? But it's really interesting. So he was like an officer for the Soviet Union or a KGB agent, and I didn't know this. How old do you think Putin is?
50.
That's what I thought, right?
Oh, you're like older.
You look at him and he looks 50, right?
Yeah.
I thought Putin was 50. Zach, how old do you think Putin is?
I thought it was like early 60s?
Early 60s. Yeah. The guy's almost 70. I didn't know this. The guy's almost fucking 70 years old. I thought he was like 50 something. Whatever they're feeding him, I want some. He looks good. He's probably eating everything that his people can't, you know? That's why Russia's so fucked. He's eating everything good, right? So anyway, he's so old that he was like a really prominent KGB agent during the Soviet Union days. So from his perspective, he's just trying to bring back the USSR and reform what the West destroyed. That's basically how he's thinking. And he's thinking, oh, our amazing empire was fucking destroyed. I'm going to rebuild it. Problem with that is because he's so old, and you see this a lot of the time with really old politicians, what they want is not what most people want, purely because most people around their age are either dead or dying, or they've moved on, or they were children when this shit was happening, so they don't really understand or know what they're missing out on that these old people want to bring back. They don't miss it because they never really experienced it because they were children. So they just, in their own little bubble, their family bubble. So that's like, from my understanding, from like a few things that I read and a speech that he made and a few videos I watched, where he's coming from, which in his crazy head, I guess makes sense. He's not invading Ukraine. He's reforming Russia and the USSR, basically. And they were always one people. But the problem is, the Ukrainian people do not think that. So it's like Putin's going to come in and take over Ukraine and go, all right, guys, we did it. You're welcome. We're back. We're now one people. And everyone in Ukraine's going to go, hey, you're fucking crazy. We don't want to live under your rule. We don't like this. You're a dictator. Get the fuck out of our country. And I feel like even if they take over Ukraine, which it doesn't look like they're having too much success with, it seems like even if they were to like win on paper, they'd be dealing with like guerrilla fighters fucking forever, which is exactly, that's what happened in Afghanistan. Like we won, right? We took over, but the people never stopped fighting. Like they never gave up. They were like, we don't want you guys here. Get the fuck out. Some people did. A lot of people didn't. And eventually we just had to go, well, we can't convince everyone without fucking turning the place to glass. So we're out. And I feel like that's like what's going to happen in Ukraine. But I'm so on Ukraine's side, and a lot of people are thinking, what can we do to help Ukraine? What can we do to fight Russia? And I'm going to tell you what you can do as an average person, because it can feel really hard, like what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to send the money? Is the money even going to get there? Like, how's the money going to be spent? Like, what do I actually do as a person who doesn't live in Ukraine or Russia? How can I stop this from happening? And I've decided that the best way to help Ukraine is to just believe every single story that comes out of Ukraine that shows them in a good light, no matter how obscenely and obviously false that it is. For example, I heard yesterday the ghost of Kiev killed 350 Russian fighter jets while blindfolded. That's true. I'm choosing to believe that's true. Has anyone verified if the ghost of Kiev was ever real? That guy's not, that's not a real story. And I feel like that's quite obvious. Because first it started off as like, Ukrainian pilot downs 2 Russian jets. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Good on him. And then it was like, now he's taken down 6. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Then it turned into, they shot down the ghost of Kiev. And I'm like, oh, no, they got him. And then it turned into, he survived and he's back in the air. He was never real. Surely he was never fucking real. A guy like downed 6 jets, got shot down. They put him back in the air and he downed 6 more. That's what I've seen on Twitter from like Ukrainian news sources. That shit's not true, is it? I heard another thing, but I'm choosing to believe that it is true to piss off Russia. That is true. I guarantee it. Can you Google that? Is the ghost of Kiev even fucking real? I bet he's not, because I'm seeing it on Twitter a lot. And I'm seeing all of these like TikToks that are going crazy viral of like war footage of Ukrainians like destroying tanks and stuff. And then I see it on Twitter getting debunked like 2 hours later that it was like from some other war that happened in between 2 separate countries. But I'm choosing to believe that it's true. And every time you see Ukraine dunking on Russia, regardless of how true that is, you believe it, you share it, you put it out there. This is how we win this war, with positive misinformation.
The videos they're uploading of him are from a video game, and the photos they're posting of him are from 3 years ago, posted by the Defense Ministry.
Wow. So
and the pilot in the photos is just doing a test flight.
Yeah, see, it's not real, but you know what? It is real. I'm choosing to believe that it's real. Watch out for the ghost of Kiev. And then there was like some other guy that had a really scary name that was supposedly killing a bunch of Russians on the ground that I'm also choosing to believe is true. I read some other story about something like the Air Force claimed to take out like 300 Russian vehicles, and everyone was like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about 300 Russian vehicles. This seems like a lot of vehicles to take out in one go. That's a lot. But you know what? As a proud member of democracy and the West, you know what? Ukraine did it, and I bet it was all the ghost of Kiev. And he did it while he was blindfolded on foot after he was shot down for a 3rd time and still survived. The man's invincible. Let's go. Ghost of Kiev. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Another thing this is why I don't think that Russia can last if the sanctions last, because that's the thing. This is like such a big game of all of these nations have put these crazy sanctions on Russia, but sanctions it's like a double-edged sword, because it's like, oh, we're not going to buy this from you, but we need that. You know, there's a lot of things that we're just deciding not to buy that we do need, hoping that we can starve Russia. But if Putin's like, I reckon I can hold out longer than you guys can. I think that his plan is basically like, I can not sell this to you for longer than you can not buy it from me, I think is the plan. And that's going to be the gamble. And you know who pays the price? Everyday Russian civilians, right? And I think that's, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of people going, oh, sanctions only hurt the everyday people. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, isn't the only other alternative like war? We can't have war. But the one sanction no one's doing is deciding not to buy oil, which is apparently the only sanction that might actually make Putin and other oligarchs go, all right, maybe we should stop this, is if we stop buying oil. But then the whole world stops. It is so weird, like seeing the world decide how they're going to punish like a really bad thing without war, because war in today's times is just too fucking crazy. So I don't know. But what is very interesting, right? My favorite thing is seeing how the average person and how private businesses are responding to this, right? I'm seeing bottle-os everywhere refusing to sell Russian vodka. Got him. Owned. Take that, Russia. That'll hurt, 10 distilleries that are probably owned by the same guy in Russia. I mean, do you really think that the number one customer of Russian vodka is not Russians? I don't think that hurts them too much, right? But then there's another one, right? Here's one that definitely will hurt them. Apple Pay, no longer working. That's annoying. I got to use cash. I got to use my actual fucking rubles. That's annoying. Right? That's a good private little sanction. But here's the one that's going to hurt the most, all right? Now, this is why I'm saying that Ukraine comes out on top and Russia retreats, because you get like private businesses making decisions like this. The sequel to the Sonic film is not being released in Russia. And I don't see how Russia can continue this war if their people can't see the sequel to Sonic. Right? Now, I don't think that anyone there saw the first film, but I know they all wanted to see the second film. And I know that we're not going to see riots in Russia because they're all of a sudden bread costs $1 million. No, we're going to see riots in Russia because they want to see the second Sonic film where Jim Carrey goes bald and wears a funny mustache and dresses up as Dr. Eggman. That's what freedom's all about.
Idris Elba's in this one.
Idris Elba's in this one, right? How can you miss out on that? Do you hear that? That's the sound of Russians protesting and getting arrested and filling up all of their prisons because they want to watch the second Sonic film. That's what's really going to end this war is brave companies. Like, who the fuck made that? Paramount. Probably some one guy working alone in his bedroom, right? Getting paid by the hour to make that fucking film. They're not releasing it. And God bless Paramount Films, right? Makers of some of the greatest moments in film, like the first Sonic movie. Yeah, I don't know what happens here. What?
No, I'm just laughing at that.
No, well that's good. You can keep your mic there. Sorry, he's on thin ice. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think happens with Ukraine?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I was thinking about what I said to you earlier is that similar to what you're saying is that they might win because of just the manpower they have, but Russia also haven't sent in their like proper troops. They're just sending in like their trainees and their young guys at the moment, and they're not even using like half of their firepower. Which I think is the scariest part. Like
they can like I think they definitely wanted to win this faster. They underestimated Ukraine, but it definitely seems like they can take all of the cities, but like it's not just you got to hold them too, and you got to. That's like how much fucking resources and time and manpower and violence do you need to use to keep a country that big and that like opposed to your rule under wraps? I don't think it's possible, especially not if everyone else keeps up their sanctions. But I guess what could happen is they'll take. Maybe they take Ukraine and the rest of the world goes, oh, well, don't do it again. We're going to end the sanctions because it hurts us as well, but don't do it again. And then, I don't know.
My favorite part is actually hearing the stories of like the 18-year-old Russian prisoner of wars.
Yes.
Prisoners of war.
Yeah.
Getting caught and being like, I don't even know why I'm here. I didn't even know there was a war.
Yeah, that's like, that reminds me of when I like worked at a call center. I don't want to be here. Like I don't know. They told me to do this, and I'm doing a half-assed job.
Yeah,
Like it seems like they every single Russian soldier is just me when I worked a regular job. Like I'll go, but I'm not going to do a good job.
You seen that video where they're broken down on the side of the road? And the Ukrainian guy's just like, "What's happening? Do you need help?"
That's so weird. Seeing like that's how fucking weird war is. That it's not like what you see in the movies where it's like, oh, there's the enemy, get him. It's a lot. It seems to be like way more nuanced than that. Where like Ukrainians can walk up to Russian soldiers who are invading their country and go, "Hey, dude, what's going on? Do you need a cigarette? What are you guys doing here?" Because I don't know what the fuck I would do if all of a sudden like Chinese soldiers just rocked up and they weren't shooting everyone. They were just hanging around. I might go up for a chat.
Yeah.
What's up, boys? What are you doing? Can you guys go away? Yeah. Please? Like, I would try that. Hey, can you guys go away, please? No? All right. Sweet. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then I would go to, like, my storage and I get at the polystyrene. I go, well, this is going to scar us both. Yeah, it's so fucked, man. It's crazy, but I guess, I don't know. It's mental seeing war unfold in real time on social media. Like we got in the Patreon Discord, there's a guy from Ukraine like fucking fleeing the war, like trying to get as west as he can or as east, whatever's furthest away from it. And it's like, you see like World War II and Afghanistan and stuff like that, and because because they're from like such different cultures and lands, it's easy to like kind of forget or not hear everyone's side. But then with this, it's like, it's nuts. Although I suppose like that's just probably like propaganda that we're seeing. That's another thing that is so obvious is like how much propaganda we're seeing every day and how both sides are trying to twist the truth. Like, I would imagine big reason why no one sees like the negatives of, you know, the Afghanistan war on the news or any conflict in the Middle East. Basically, you don't see much of like the local populace's point of view, is because it probably makes us look like terrible people, and it doesn't suit the agenda of the people that are in there, which is us, you know. So guys, you know what, man? After a lot of discussion, I've decided that war is not good, man. And maybe we should all just like embrace peace and love, dude. And we should all put down our guns and just hug and kiss, man. And that's what I would like to put out into the world. And I think that's a perspective that you haven't heard before. Is, dude, man, maybe we should like not do that. And then things will be chill and cool.
Facts.
You hear that? It's the sound of Russian soldiers leaving. I just solved the crisis. Hey guys, don't stop it. That's mean. Fixed it.